Welcome back to This Day in Irish History. I'm your host, Raymond Welsh. Before we dive into today's story, if you'd like to explore other significant events that happened on this day in Irish history, visit thisdayrishhistory.com. The link is in the episode description. Now, let's journey back to March 6th, 1921, when Limerick was shaken by the brutal assassination of two of its former mayors, George Clancy and Michael O'Callaghan, along with nationalist Joseph O'Donoghue. This violent act, carried out by British Crown forces, further fueled the fires of Ireland's struggle for independence. The Irish War of Independence was at its height in early 1921, with British forces and the Irish Republican Army, IRA, locked in a deadly conflict. The war had escalated into a brutal campaign of guerrilla warfare, reprisals, and assassinations. The British government had responded to the growing insurgency by deploying the infamous Black and Tans and the Auxiliary Division, paramilitary forces known for their ruthless tactics and indiscriminate violence. Limerick, a city with strong nationalist sentiments, was under strict military curfew, and tensions were at a breaking point. On the night of March 6th, under the cover of darkness, members of the Black and Tans, or Auxiliaries, carried out a series of targeted assassinations. Michael O'Callaghan, who had served as Lord Mayor of Limerick in 1920, was the first victim. O'Callaghan had already been marked by the British due to his outspoken nationalist views. His wife later recounted how a group of armed men forced their way into their home and shot him multiple times at point-blank range in front of her. Shortly thereafter, George Clancy, the sitting Lord Mayor of Limerick and a known supporter of Sinn Féin, met a similar fate. Clancy, a well-respected academic and nationalist, had succeeded O'Callaghan as mayor and was deeply involved in the struggle for Irish self-determination. He was also a former student of the renowned writer James Joyce. That night, armed men stormed Clancy's house, dragged him from his bed, and executed him. His brutal murder was yet another example of the Crown Forces' policy of targeted reprisals against Irish political leaders. The third victim, Joseph O'Donoghue, was killed in similar circumstances, adding to the horror of the night. These killings were not random acts of violence, but calculated executions aimed at breaking the morale of the Irish nationalist movement. However, instead of cowing the people of Limerick, the assassinations only deepened local and national outrage against British rule. The shocking murders sent ripples across Ireland and the wider world. The British government denied responsibility, but eyewitness accounts and the sheer brutality of the assassinations left little doubt that Crown forces were behind them. Sinn Féin leaders used the killings as further proof of Britain's oppressive and illegitimate rule in Ireland, bolstering support for the Republican cause. Less than a year later, the Anglo-Irish Treaty was signed in December 1921, leading to the establishment of the Irish Free State. While independence came with significant compromises, the sacrifices of men like Clancy, O'Callaghan, and O'Donoghue were not forgotten. Their tragic deaths became part of the larger story of Ireland's long and arduous journey towards sovereignty. The assassinations of March 6, 1921, remain a stark reminder of the brutality of the War of Independence and the resilience of those who fought for Irish freedom. The memory of George Clancy, Michael O'Callaghan, and Joseph O'Donoghue lives on in Limerick and beyond, commemorated as martyrs in Ireland's fight for self-determination. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Ireland's past. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, I'm Raymond Welsh. Slán go foil.